Hi everyone, okay, back with another movie haul video, and what I have today is a whole load of movies that I picked up from a neighbour. He didn't want me to pick and choose what I took. It was a case of just take them all. So yeah, there are a number of movies here which I'm not necessarily going to keep. In fact, I won't keep, but I just thought I'd show you everything because I know tastes vary amongst my viewers. Some of you will like some of the ones that I'm not interested in, and maybe will be disinterested in the ones that I am keen on. But okay, I'll show you what I got. First up, there is a Blu-ray here of Easy Rider. Great, except I do already have this really fantastic DVD edition, which has loads of special features on it and a great BFI book with it as well. So I'll be keeping this and probably not the Blu-ray. Got Bard Abbott and Lou Costello in Buck Privates. A steelbook here of Superbad. There's the front and there's the back. Just blank inside except for the disc. Here's a blast from the past now. This is Yahoo Serious from Australia in Young Einstein. Now, I did actually go and see this at the cinema when it came out. Haven't seen it since. I'm fairly intrigued to see it again, but don't have high hopes for it. Okay, we've got Rob Schneider here in Deuce Bigalow, Male Gigolo. The Simpsons movie. Jason Lee in Alvin and the Chipmunks. And the animated movie Open Season. Johnny Depp and Helena Bonham Carter in Tim Burton's Sweeney Todd, the Demon Barber of Fleet Street. Madonna's first movie that was actually made before Desperately Seeking Susan and released afterwards, A Certain Sacrifice. Eddie Murphy in The Nutty Professor. And then we've got Ted Wass in Blake Edwards' Curse of the Pink Panther. As well as Roberto Benigni, the star of Life is Beautiful, in Son of the Pink Panther. The 1981 Ray Harryhausen version of Clash of the Titans. I do already have this DVD and a Blu-ray. Directed by Terry Zwigoff. This is Art School Confidential. And always happy to have another Fox film noir in my collection. This is Betty Grable and Victor Mature in I Wake Up Screaming. Directed by Richard Fleischer. This is Charles Bronson in Mr. Majestic. Now, he actually plays a melon farmer in this, which I find is quite amusing because it just makes me think of back on TV, back in the 80s or whatever, on ITV, whenever they used to have films such as Die Hard or Lethal Weapon, and they couldn't... they had to bleep out the word motherfucker, and instead they would say melon farmer or muddy funster. That always just made me laugh. So yeah, Mr. Majestic, he is actually a melon farmer. Brilliant movie, Werner Herzog's Aguirre, Wrath of God with Klaus Kinski. And I do already have this. This is Oliver Stone's Natural Born Killers. And I do have several versions of this, but here we are again. This is The Sound of Music. And now we've got Ingmar Bergman's Persona, except I do have that lavish Criterion box set of Ingmar Bergman movies. Clint Eastwood's going to rip your head off and shit down your neck in Heartbreak Ridge. Pleased to have this one. This is Michael Mann's first movie, starring Peter Strauss, The Jericho Mile. Now, I did like Norman Jewison's Rollerball, starring James Caan and Ralph Richardson. Not quite sure if I need another version starring Chris Klein and LL Cool J, but we'll see. Directed by Die Hard's John McTiernan. Not great, but fairly entertaining Brian De Palma movie, Mission to Mars, with Gary Sinise. And must admit, not entirely sure what this is. This is Appetite for Destruction. I think it's a compilation of sort of BMX stunts and skateboarding stunts, big truck stunts, that kind of thing. I do have this one on Laserdisc. This is directed by Philip Borsos, who also directed The Grey Fox. This is One Magic Christmas, with an interesting role here for Harry Dean Stanton in this one. And here we have Caligula, except I don't need this one because I do have a more lavish set, although not the more recently released 4K edition, which really puts the movie back into its original order. I've not seen this one. This is an HBO film that has Ray Liotta, Joe Mantegna and Don Cheadle playing the Rat Pack. And then directed by Paul Schrader and starring Greg Kinnear and Willem Dafoe, Autofocus. Kurt Russell and James Spader in Roland Emmerich's Stargate, the Ultimate Edition. And I do have this movie already. This is A League of Their Own, starring Tom Hanks and Gina Davis and Madonna. Sandra Bullock, Ryan Gosling and Michael Pitt in Murder by Numbers. And I'm not very familiar with this one. This is David Duchovny and Lily Taylor in The Secret. Peak Jean-Claude Van Damme in Bloodsport. I do have this on Laserdisc. And Tommy Lee Jones, Ashley Judd in Double Jeopardy. Sam Peckinpah's excellent Bring Me the Head of Alfredo Garcia, starring Warren Oates. I do have this on Laserdisc, but yeah, good to have the DVD as well. David Spade in Dickie Roberts, former child star. Cameron Diaz, Lucy Liu and Drew Barrymore in Charlie's Angels. And something a bit more local, we have a statue of this guy outside BC Place here in Vancouver. This is Terry, the Terry Fox story. Now onto some Criterions, and again another Ingmar Bergman, The Seventh Seal, except I do have the Ingmar Bergman box set. Peter O'Toole in Peter Medak's The Ruling Class. This is the 1963 version of Lord of the Flies. Now I do have this already on one of the Janus Essential Art House editions, but yeah, nice to have this one as well. And I do have the Harry Hook remake also on Laserdisc. I do have this one already, The Life Aquatic, Wes Anderson. Good to have this though, from 1933, directed by Fritz Lang, The Testament of Dr. Mabuse. And I do have this movie already, but great classic British comedy, Withnail and I, written and directed by Bruce Robinson and starring Richard E. Grant and Paul McGann. Featuring the visual effects masterminds behind Avatar, Iron Man 2 and 300. This is the science fiction movie Skyline, starring Eric Balfour. Haven't seen this one. Really fun disaster movie from the 70s, Earthquake. I have this on Laserdisc. And Woody Allen's comedy with Larry David, Whatever Works. And also got Taron Egerton and Colin Firth in Matthew Vaughan's Kingsman, The Secret Service. And then finally, the lot included some TV as well. So we have here, I'm really not familiar with this at all. This is The Adventures of Ozzie and Harriet. We have the third season here of Gilligan's Island, a famous show, but it's not one that I ever watched. And then there's a spin-off movie, Rescue from Gilligan's Island. Pretty good to have this though. This is season 1 of Ironside, starring the great Raymond Burr. And then finally, I love this show, so I don't mind having it again. But this is The Americans, the complete seasons. Season 3. Season 4, starring Kerry Russell, Matthew Rhys. Really fantastic series, this one. Okay, so as you can see, quite a mixed selection there, but let me know your thoughts on comments on any of those. Maybe there are some of those that you like, which I don't care for, and vice versa. So leave me your comments. Please do join me again for some more videos. Hope to see you again soon. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.